You see, there's always going to be people who fight for their independent rights. And, a lot of people do have a lot of shtick to say for certain individuals. Like pagans, a lot of bad things to say about them, a lot of bad things. Satanists, a lot of bad things to say about them, but really it's just a bullshit behavior to shit talk individuals thinking you're badass. That's another issue. You see, there's a lot of tricks to confuse people. And going around saying paganism is satanic is one of them. Because in the end, it's a whole bunch of bullshit. And I would even agree, yes, it is bullshit. But I mean, come on, there's a lot to say about this issue. And yeah, I have read through a lot of magical books. I have. And I just want to say it's bullshit to target those individuals, man. Pretending, like I saw on the news the other day, they're pretending the pagans are not good for the community, and the pagans had to hold an emergency peace ritual. I think somewhere around me. It's just a whole bunch of bullshit. Just a whole bunch of bullshit crybabies. And so many people are just kind of willing to get their snowflake feelings hurt about this issue. I've seen it. Apparently, those snowflakes start saying, oh, well, Satanists are attacking our root religion, our Christian values, and all that. I've seen stuff like that. And honestly, I don't have time for people being all offended about nothing and kind of coming up with shit out of their ass. But yeah, I wanted to make a video about this because this type of stuff does bug me, and it does bug a lot of people. Like, people tend to be annoyed by this behavior, this targeting behavior, and it's really not that cool. People don't go around saying this without a reason. The reason is they're trying to make other people look bad, and that's it. That's the whole point. It's just looking around trying to get people to react to a certain type of behavior and look good. There's so many people that would quite literally try to look good over a whole bunch of bullshit. And I gotta say, man, you can't try to make yourself look good. You can only try to make yourself look authentic. And all these Christians are hypocritical because they are trying to make alternative religions look bad. And they're just gonna make themselves look like absolute assholes. And you know what? Let them. They're just gonna look like assholes in the end. Let them. Because everybody else is bullshit. When you think about life in general, you gotta realize that everybody else except for your personal wants and needs is bullshit. And all of these people need to get a life. You know? Seriously. Because nobody's trying to undermine your Christian values. You just want other people to think that. Some sort of control mechanism in your head makes you want others to think that. I don't personally have time for bullshit, but hey, I got other things. Because in the end, there's only authenticity in this world. There's only green. There's only green that produces oxygen, man. That's what it all boils down to. That's what it all boils down to. And people gotta learn that. People gotta learn that. The fight for equal rights is real. The fight for equal rights is real. And women have already fought for their rights. Now it's the transgenders, the gays, soon, and now it's the Satanists that are fighting for equal rights, equal religious rights, and equal rights in general. Soon, the equal rights are gonna influence more people. And soon, all these bigots, man, are gonna be taken off the earth and taken somewhere nice and warm. They're gonna be taken somewhere nice and warm, and they're not gonna come back. They're gonna kind of enjoy it there. They're gonna enjoy it in their own personal BS. Things are just gonna start becoming completely normal. No need to defend themselves. They got rid of the problem, you know? Like all these aboriginals that have had their shit burned, they'll have their time. They will have their time. See, we are all just oxygen-breathing, almost oxymoronic people on this earth, man. It doesn't matter what you say, it's all just words. All of these things that people say, they're all just words. Every word is a word, and that word makes more words. See, this is what makes you authentic. Right here. Understanding the world. Understanding individuality here. Because right now, this world is limited. But you are limitless. You need to understand that. Everybody needs to understand that about themselves. So don't take a whole bunch of fake-ass bullshit trying to make you hate the other side. And not the other side of the argument or whatever. Because that's what I'm seeing here. And we are all just individual people. Individual people just learning how to adapt and change. Just learn how to love the earth, man. Learn it. Learn what makes the earth round. Be peaceful. Lovin' is what I got. Remember that. Because there's been a whole bunch of, let's say, religionists talking bad about pagans again. And, of course, the aboriginal statues and all that being burned in Australia. Disrespecting the value of alternative and aboriginal society. And when stuff like that happens, you can kind of tell that the gears of theocracy are at it again. And what I mean by that, in reality, they are trying. Donald Trump is acting like a dumbass who really, really, really does think that bombing hurricanes is a good idea. And not an idea that will literally radiate poison with radiation this entire country and kill a whole bunch of people off. Oh, but no, he's the good guy, right? He's working with the aliens or whatever, right? Because I constantly hear this. Either Trump is working with the QAnon people, or he's working with some alien bullshit. A whole bunch of pro-Trump propaganda, but no, he's not gonna radiate this entire country, right? Again, propaganda to create a theocratic society. And what I mean by that is, quite literally, there's a whole bunch of aboriginal hate again. You can't even probably go in Australia without having some sort of shit thrown at you. And that's a real shame because, again, I thought we were coming out as an open world, as a peaceful world, not an open world, a peaceful world that is willing to accept other people's ideology. Oh, but no, we're going back at it again, and with the whole Australian aboriginal burning shit. The aboriginal guys who were women who went to Christ and realized everything to do with pagan culture is the devil. And of course we were having this same thing in America, and I think even in my hometown, where pagans are holding peaceful rites and peaceful rituals because the Christian Senate is targeting the pagans again, and all this type of stuff. In the end, you all have to realize that paganism is nothing more than a peaceful society. And at the same time, a whole bunch of religionists will say the opposite. Will say it's not peaceful, and say that it's just pagans are the ones attacking people, right? That type of mentality. And if you actually pay attention close enough, the whole thing with Trump, while the Brazilian forest was burning, he was actually buying land for another forest to burn down. All these people, believe it or not, a whole bunch of corrupt people. Christians are inauthentic. If you actually go through spiritual awakening yourself, you will actually start noticing either synchronicity through the universe, like the opening of the chakra, the beautiful universal signals. You will actually start noticing a whole bunch of tactics the Christian uses to keep either their children in line for the Christian church or for people around them in the community to keep them Christian and to keep them from questioning, stuff like Caesar Borgia, that type of stuff. And of course the very, very, very real cow sacrifice and infant sacrifice in the Bible with the story of Isaac. And I forget where cow sacrifice is in, but anyway, moving on. And it's not right. A whole bunch of people go through hell. I know, if you spiritually awaken, you will actually see the false, toxic nature of most religious people. You will see them start acting more as a desperate individual. Once you start activating your chakras, like your third chakra, all the chakras, you start activating your serpentine force. They will, even the televangelist, I think it was Pat Thompson, whatever the fuck his name is, started saying that the Buddha statue, as soon as the millennial fad to become spiritual awakened, as soon as that starts happening, once people start becoming awake in America, frickin' Pat, the televangelist retard, starts saying shit like the Buddha statue is demonic. Huh? And if you don't believe that it's a control system at this point, then there is seriously something kind of wrong with you. Like, really wrong with you. You see, but most of these organizations that are not Christian, actually in every religion, you can see Christians donating to charity, like, at food boxes and all that. Same way with the Satanic Temple supporting the LGBTQ. They're trying to look like the good guys, both of them. Here's the thing, though. If you really want to become a satanic magician, actually start researching theistic Satanism, demonology. If you want to become a pagan, Again, but pagans aren't the ones that try to publicize themselves as good guys that often. But again, if you want to become a better pagan, there's a lot of good ways to understand that type of culture. There's the YouTube presence of YouTube paganists is increasing. And surprisingly, the demonologists are starting to kick off a lot. But there is a lot of stubbornness. That's what you gotta know in this world, and in paganism, and in any other magical religion. You're always gonna come across a stubborn individual. And that's the first thing you really gotta learn. But again, pagans are really being attacked. They're in Australia specifically with the aboriginal burnings. You are removing an entire ancestral cult. You're removing a whole bunch of actual history. Just for the attention. Just basically going on the idea about the aboriginal stuff being demonic or the devil. It's just hate speech. That's just hate speech. That's a whole bunch of bullshit. And the struggle is real, and they are really creating a theocratic society. All of this stuff it seems like it's intentional, because as soon as one fad or one story or news story leaves the attention of the adolescents, another story comes in. First it's the aboriginals burning for Christianity. Then it's the Christian Senate, or the people in the Senate fingering pagans as demonic devil worshippers and all that. It seems like it's systematic targeting. And and once you actually enlighten yourself enough, you will actually catch on to a lot of this type of falsity. And I highly recommend. There's a lot of good books to recommend. But if you want to be a pagan, check out Scott Cunningham, Janet and Stuart Farrar. They have books. Doreen Valiente, Gerald Gardner. If you want to get into Satanism, do not get into LaVeyan Satanism. They are posers. Do not get into the Satanic Temple. They are posers. Get into Michael W. Ford, Asha Shadim, and his Lilin Society, and get into the Order of the Nine Angles, sinister tradition. This is my genuine advice to anybody that wants to follow any of those paths. So, yeah. Oh, and a whole bunch of stuff about freaking Satanists getting attacked. And I've actually heard this a lot. And Synchronicity showed me this video on YouTube of hate speech, by the way, of this guy saying Satanists are pretending to be attacked. There's nothing pretending about it. This is a very for real thing. Look, the more outrageous they act, the more that they can be easily opposed. Because there was this story about, I don't know, some guy who sent a death threat written on paper to the leader of some satanic organization. And when the satanic organization actually pressed charges against the Christian church, the guy that actually wrote down the threat started saying, they're attacking our Christian rights, they're attacking our Christian rights, they're attacking our Christian rights. And in reality, if you write down on paper or through virtual media or messenger or DM, you are going to get charged. Let me explain this to you again. Like you're just barely learning. You're very young. And you're very adolescent. I will explain this to you again. If you send a death threat either on written account or through personal messaging or DM, direct message, you will get charged. Okay? I don't know why this is a sudden issue, but okay. But I personally think, and this is just not me, but the aboriginals will have revenge. You can't just kill away an entire culture, siphon it out. You can't siphon it out like it's water. Okay? And some people will figure out why they're trying to siphon it out eventually. Yeah. Basically, people will try to figure it out that it's just another Inquisition type scenario. And boom goes the dynamite. There goes your free rights. They're charging you with more bullshit this time. Instead of witchery, it will be some made-up word like flip-flop, or cuckoo, or labagoo, you know, because before the 1970s, the 1700s, the Inquisition, the word witch didn't really have a meaning. So there might be another Inquisition calling you a random word that you don't know what exists, like hooglaby, or something more, a little more creative. And basically, boom, you're being hate crimed for it. Oh no, you have a birthmark, right? You have a birthmark. You know, something completely BS. You know, and I just don't agree with it. I don't agree. Because, again, the aboriginals will have their respect turned over. They won't react kindly to this. There's going to be a lot of equal rights issues going in the future. Oh yeah. No. Christians, they're crazy enough to defend themselves against equal rights or something like that. And containing these aboriginal burnings, they're gonna come up with some bullshit in court in case they are charged with the burning of a civilization, or burning other people's literal belongings. Like all those burnings can be belongings of that belong to generations past, to the new members of that family bloodline. You'd be surprised. You'd be absolutely surprised. And that is why they're going to have some sort of uprising. The aboriginals will fight back. And it's through the spiritual world too. So a lot of karma will hit these people back that are burning these objects. Not the people, maybe the people, but mostly the religion itself is going to go through hard times. Even more millennials will leave church. Religion will become less popular throughout the ages. Maybe Christianity will become criminal. You have no idea how bad this karma will hit these people. But the aboriginals will strike back and will fight back.